Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Brazos Valley. My name is Reverend Kiya. My pronouns are she and they, and I'm so happy to see you all. I'm so sick of being on the couch. Very happy to see everybody this morning. We're going to sing number 146 in the Great Hymnal, which is Soon the Day Will Arrive. We're getting close to the dedication of our new building, and there's postcards out there. Take as many as you like and give them out to whoever you'd like and invite everybody to come to our event. It's definitely going to happen. Let me get organized here a bit. The day will arrive when we will be together and the children will smile without wondering whether.
Wait. Hold on. We were having an issue because this side of the room was about a measure ahead of that side of the room. So can we begin again?
Yeah,
I couldn't deal with
definitely
it.
do it again. Now you'll all be able to hear. So here we go. Soon the day will arrive when we will be together, and no longer will we live in fear. And the children will smile without wondering whether all the days under cloud will appear. Wait and see what a world there will be if we care, you and me. Wait and see what a world there will be if we care, you and me. You got it? We dream, some have died to make a brighter tomorrow. Our vision remains in our hearts. Now the torch must be passed with a new start. Wait and see what a world there can be if we care, you and me. Wait and see what a world there can be if we care, you and me. Let's sing the first figure. Soon the day will arrive when we will be together. No longer will we live in fear, and the children will smile without wondering whether on that day thunder clouds will appear. Sing it loud. Wait and see what a world there can be if we care, you and me. Wait and see what a world there can be if we care, you and me. Good job.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Brazos Valley, UUCBV, or Brazos UU for short. My name is Jared Wagner, and my pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm serving as your worship assistant today. We are a welcoming congregation, which means we celebrate and welcome all people of diverse sexual orientation and gender identities. We also strive to welcome people across diversities of race, age, ability, immigration status, and belief. We are also a congregation working for reproductive justice. So, whoever you are, wherever you have come from, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. If you have a joy or concern, please write it in the book being passed around for Reverend Kiya to read. Please remember that our service is being recorded and available publicly, so if you need to moderate your message accordingly. Football parking, there's a sign-up sheet out front. September 2nd will be the first game, and Bobby Presley again is leading the effort. So be sure if you're available and able to help out with football parking to sign up right out the front table. And let's see, Rowan will be lighting our chalice today.
Okay, I'm up there and I'll hit it. All right. Got it. Excellent job. They can try to harm us. They can try to get rid of our health care. They can try to deny us housing, credit, and public accommodations. They can try to shame us. They can try all they want to erase us, but at some point, they will realize that the trans community is never going away. Trans people are everywhere. Every country, every race, every ethnicity, every religion, every social, economic level, every period of human history. We are everywhere. We are natural. You can't get rid of what's natural. And we are everywhere. We are natural. I think they know that, and it terrifies them. Charlotte Chandler.
Now please join me in saying our affirmation. Love is the spirit of the church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Now's the time in our service where we honor the divine spark within every person that we believe is there. And I personally know it's there. So this is a very good example of being welcoming to each other, and to especially talk to people you don't know and to people younger and older than you. Just say it. I will let you know when it ends. Go ahead.
Good morning, Bill. How are you? Good. Good.
He still wants to work. He's 80 and he still wants to work. He's engineering.
No. I think there've been a couple small fires.
That's how he does it.
I haven't heard a story about that.
Good name. It's treated me very, very well.
I know this rose will bloom. I know my future will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. So it's that time of year when everybody is going back to school. And I know that lots of people brought their backpacks to be blessed today. Did anybody want to bring them up here so we can bless them properly? All right, awesome. Okay, everybody can assume a attitude of prayer and meditation. And send good thoughts to all our students and all our teachers who are here. Spirit of life and hope and love. For many of us, school starts this week and just started this past week. Some of us are excited about new beginnings. We are eager to start a new school year and get a new classroom, or maybe even move to a new school. Some of us are homeschooled and we have new beginnings too. Yep, not in the same way. Some of us are teachers who are guiding students through their new studies. Some of us are excited about new beginnings. Be with everyone who is looking forward to what lies ahead. Now, some of us are nervous about what's coming. Some of us are scared. Some of us try hard to be big and brave, and that's not always easy. For some of us, school is a place where we don't really want to be. Spirit of life, be with everyone who is nervous about what lies ahead. May each person's bag be their friend, reminding them that they are unique and special and very okay. May their bag hold special things to help them remember how strong they are and remind them of the people who believe in them, that's all of us, and will love them always. Great Spirit, be with these lifelong learners. Help them remember their values and let their lives be guided by the values of our shared faith. May this new year be for each one filled with fun adventures and special joys, and may love be with them this day and every day. May they always know that here in this congregation, they can find the hands of friends. Now, Allison has a couple of gifts for you, a bookmark with our UU values on it. This reminds us of what we hold dear. But a bookmark also reminds us to take a break outside of our readings and studies and just enjoy our lives. Allison also has a heart sticker for you that still has its paper backing. So carry it with you and pull off its backing whenever you feel you need a little extra love, and you can share your sticker with a friend or family member who may need a little love throughout the year. We wish all of those returning to school, starting the semester, or those of us who are lifelong learners to be blessed this year. Amen. Blessed be. Ashe. Let me bless your backpack. Right. Right. Yes. Definitely.
There's one more.
Got more over here?
Yeah, right, the tall child in front, sorry. Right.
All right.
Yeah, there were two. I'm sorry, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
I just worry they're a couple.
Did you get your backpack blessed? You want me to bless you? Come here. I'll bless you. Come here. Here you go. All blessings on you. And all blessings on you all who are out there, who are teachers and lifelong learners. That's everybody, I assume. Allison's going to tell you a very cool story.
Hello. Today our story is called Bunny Bear, and it's by Andrea J. Loney. There once was a bear who was more than a bear. Sure, he was shaggy and stompy like most bears, and he could be loud, very loud if he wanted to. But when he was alone, he loved to bounce through the forest, wiggle his nose, and nibble on strawberries. It made him feel free and light and happy. He called himself Bunny Bear. The other bears didn't understand Bunny Bear. They thought he was odd. "What are you doing?" they growled. "Stop hopping around and catch these fish. Stop twitching your nose and eat your meat. Stop sitting there and stand up like a bear." So Bunny Bear left the den without even telling his mama. He bounced through the forest and into the meadow. Then, right there, in a patch of tasty flowers, he saw it, a bunny. He tried to say hello, but the rabbit raced away. Bunny Bear bounced after her. Underground, Bunny Bear saw the most beautiful sight, an entire warren of bunnies. They were tiny and fluffy and bouncy, like Bunny Bear's heart. "What are you doing in here?" whispered one of the bunnies. Bunny whispers were one of Bunny Bear's favorite sounds. "Me? I'm just one of the bunnies," Bunny Bear replied a little too loudly. The bunnies giggled. Bunny giggles were also one of Bunny Bear's favorite sounds, but not when the giggles were about him. They made Bunny Bear feel cramped and fidgety. The elder bunny looked down his long nose at Bunny Bear. "You don't look like a bunny. You don't sound like a bunny, and," he sniffed, "you certainly don't smell like a bunny." "But," Bunny Bear gasped, "I feel bouncy and fluffy and tiny, see?" He wriggled his tail and bounced, but his bounces were a little too big. "I think you should go," the elder bunny said. Oh, Bunny Bear. All alone and covered with dirt, Bunny Bear curled up against a tree and sighed. He didn't feel like a bear. He didn't look like a bunny. What was Bunny Bear to do? Then he felt a poke on his paw. When he looked down, he saw a bunny. Only this bunny was more than a bunny. "I'm Grizzly Bun!" she roared. "You're awfully loud for a bunny," said Bunny Bear. "I'm no bunny," said Grizzly Bun. "I'm a bear." Nose to nose with Grizzly Bun, Bunny Bear asked, "Are you sure you're a bear?" "Of course I am," said Grizzly Bun. "I'm burly and loud and I eat whenever I want." "That certainly sounds like a bear to me," said Bunny Bear. "Really?" whispered Grizzly Bun. "I mean, really?" "Yes," said Bunny Bear. You just look one way on the outside and feel another way on the inside. That's okay." "I'm sure glad you're here," said Grizzly Bun. "Really? But I scared everyone away." "Not me," said Grizzly Bun. "When I see you, I feel more like me." Grizzly Bun's words made Bunny Bear's heart bounce with joy. He gave her the biggest, bunniest bear hug ever. So Bunny Bear and Grizzly Bun found the perfect place to be themselves. They played and giggled and roared with laughter. And they weren't just bunnies or bears. They were friends. And they were happy until... Roar! "Where have you been?" growled Mama Bear. "I found a new friend, Mama, and she likes me just the way I am." His mother gave him the biggest, coziest Mama Bear hug ever. "I'm so happy for you, my sweet Bunny Bear. she said in a berry whisper. Well done, my ferocious grizzly bun, the elder bunny said. Let's go home. The next day, the bunnies threw a party, and all the animals in the forest were invited. Finally, Bunny Bear felt like he belonged. And he wasn't the only one. Meow, I'm Kitty Jay. Look, I can flutter too. Moo, said the bee. Guys, sometimes I feel really squirrely. The end. So sometimes you might feel differently than you might appear on the outside, and that's totally cool and okay, and we love you for it. All right, I invite all of my younger UUs to RE with me at the back of the room, and will the rest of you sing us out with this little light and vine?
I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you, Ken. And now it's the time in our service where we reflect on our joys and sorrows, and we share them with each other. So we have many things to talk about. Joyce says that she had her 50th anniversary with wonderful Kirk on the 11th, and her birthday is on the 21st, but she is unlisted in her age. Gary and Judy have moved to the Langford. My heart grieves for the lives lost on Maui and for the survivors who have just lost their homes, their possessions, and their loved ones. That's John. I too am remembering those who have lost lives and property on Maui. So let's have a minute and put our heads down for the Maui people. Send them some good energy. We're celebrating that school is back. And Dina says, despite a silly fall on vacation, she is on the mend. So those are joys and concerns. And we will also hold in mind all the ones that are unspoken. We're going to sing Morning Has Broken, which is number 38 in the gray hymn. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for the springing, fresh from the word. When the rain's new fall, solid from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where God's feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light Eden saw play. So this morning I'm talking about transgender rights in Texas. What happened in the legislature, good and bad, and also some just general conversation about what all these words like gender expression and non-binary mean, and what we can do to be welcoming to our trans brothers and sisters. So the first thing I want to tell you is, who are the transgender Texans? Well, they say about 1 in every 150 people is transgender, recognizably transgender. They know it, they tell people about it. I'm sure there's more that are not out of the closet, so to speak. About 63% are BIPOC. You all know what BIPOC means? Okay, excellent. No? No? Okay, it means that you're a person of color, or that you're from an ethnic minority. Although sometimes those minorities aren't minorities at all. About 10,000 Texas youth identify as transgender, despite facing disproportionate discrimination and violence in public places. They are not included in Texas hate crime law. So there's no protections if somebody is picking on you. And almost 75% of the children who are at school that identify as transgender do not feel safe in school. 75%. That's a large amount of people. And it's a large amount of people to know that you're being discriminated against in the legislature. Can you imagine growing up in that kind of environment where you know people don't want you, or they want you to be forced to move out of state? Now, if your doctor and you and your parents feel that you should be having medical care to transition, it is now illegal as of October 1st. It's illegal in Texas to get care if you are underage minor needing gender therapy. So what does that mean? It means that people have to buy the medicine. I know people who've had to buy the medicine. They're 14 currently, and they had to buy all the medicine until they're 18. Can you imagine how much money that was? Or they have to move out of state. So a lot of people that have been in our congregation have now moved out of state. So Greg Abbott and the state lawmakers have used variations of the phrase parental rights this year to push a litany of legislation with varying degrees of success. They vowed to empower Texas parents in their fights for everything from sweeping changes in the state's foster care system to what can be taught in the schools using tax dollars to subsidize kids' private school tuition. A mother in Georgetown, who is the mother of a 17-year-old transgender child, says she feels like she has no choice at all. And she and her family stare down a ban on puberty blockers and hormone treatments for trans minors that goes in effect. Actually, September 1st, not October 1st. So, in October 25th in 2021, Governor Abbott signed HB 25. That bill requires trans students playing school sports to play on the team that corresponds with their birth gender. So how they physically appear to the doctor when they came out of their mother is how they have to play sports. I had a conversation with our representative about that, and he was very concerned about his granddaughter having to play against males that have transitioned to female. It was ridiculous. He just doesn't have any idea. That is not the situation. Don't you think kids should get a chance to play sports if they want to? And that people should be comfortable in their bodies, whether they're bunny bears or anything else. Gender affirming care is life-saving, medically necessary care. Every major medical association has made it clear that these treatments, like puberty blockers and hormone therapy, are medically necessary for certain youth. The AG opinion does not impede parents or guardians from continuing to provide young people with necessary medical care, and the opinion itself states that it does not address or apply to medically necessary procedures. Now, what's medically necessary? If you're going to kill yourself because you feel like you're in the wrong body, don't you think you ought to be able to change your gender? It's kind of like obvious. No court here in Texas or anywhere in the country have ever found that medically necessary gender-affirming care can be considered child abuse. Although our AG, that's what he would like for people to think, that it's child abuse. The law is clear that parents, guardians, and doctors can provide transgender youth with treatment in accordance with prevalent standards of care. The other thing I want to talk about this morning that people may or may not be familiar with is how many people feel pretty comfortable with the idea of using the correct pronouns? Like, does it worry anybody when I tell you that my pronouns are she, they? Does anybody feel weird about that, or would you like more clarification? It's totally cool. If you have a question, now's a good time to ask. Everybody feel like they know when somebody says LGBTQIA2S, you know what that means? Everybody feels like they do? No?
LGBT, I do.
No problem. Lesbian, L. G, gay. B, bi. T, trans. I, intersex. A, asexual. So you don't necessarily have a preference, or you don't feel that you want to express yourself sexually. You're asexual. 2S means two-spirited. It's a Native American indigenous term. So that's what all those terms mean. So I'm going to just go over a bunch of different concepts for you, and then we can practice a little bit on how to be good allies and what kind of things you say to people. So if you're introduced to someone, and you would say, like I would say, "Hi, my name is Reverend Kiya. My pronouns are she, they. What's yours?" Very easy. It's very easy. That's simple. And that's being really polite. And so you're acknowledging that a person may be visually seem like they are whatever you think they are, but they may not be internally those things. And so we're just being civil, and we're asking people to say their pronouns. Civil is always good, in my opinion. So what if you make a mistake and you misgender someone, or you forget that they said, my pronouns are she, they, and you forgot to call them they? Big deal. Just say, "I'm sorry," and do better. It's okay. Most people are not that uptight about those things. All right, so here's some terms for you, and we can kind of go over them. I don't want to assume that people know this stuff. You know, it changes over time. It's always being evolving. We have the privilege of having some videos that we showed on Lunch and Learn, but not everybody can come to Lunch and Learn, and not everybody saw the videos about transgender everything. And we have a passcode that you can load those programs if you want to educate yourself, or it's embarrassing to you to ask questions out in front of everybody, which I totally get. So we got a bunch of terms, and I just want to go over them briefly, and let me know if you want explanations. So sex refers to a person's biological status. That means what they were assigned at birth, what the doctor and the nurses saw when they came out of their mother. And it's based on external anatomy only. It's typically categorized as male, female, or intersex. Intersex means they can't tell which one you are, and usually they decide. And usually they decide that you're male or female, depending on what would be easier for them to manipulate your body and make true. But often people don't feel that way. So your gender is often described as a social construct of norms, behavior, roles that varies between societies and over time. So what's considered male behavior now It's not the same as it was in 1950. Can I get a witness? Okay. For example, or American values as opposed to Iranian or Persian or Chinese. You know, like different cultures have different ideas about what is proper behavior for genders. All right, your gender identity is one's internal sense of self and their gender, whether that is man, woman, neither, or both. Unlike gender expression, gender identity is not outwardly visible to others. So there's a reason why I consider myself non-binary or gender fluid. Gender queer is actually the term I prefer. And that's why I'm a she and a they. So it lets people know that that's a possibility, and I don't care which one you call me. But I'm just acknowledging the fact that I don't feel traditionally female. Everybody can decide that for themselves, and I do not presume to know what you should call yourself. But those of you who feel like you were socialized and that you were sexually identified as a child correctly, the term for you is cis. No big deal. You're a cis heterosexual American, whatever, or whatever you happen to be. Does that make sense so far? Everybody good? Am I boring you?
Where does the cis derive from? Is it an acronym or is it a?
I don't know.
Is it prefix? Is it
Latin.
Latin prefix?
It's the opposite of trans. Cis is this side, trans is the
Oh,
other
okay,
side.
okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Thank
You're- Yeah, you know, I'm not cis. That's all I know. I figured it out in Istanbul in a hostel in a room with 8 cisgendered straight girls from all over the world. I went, oh, I have nothing in common with any of these people. Maybe I don't belong in this room. Very educational, actually. Highly recommend going to hostels with people from all over the world. Gender expression is how you present your gender outwardly through behavior, clothing, voice, or other perceived characteristics. Society identifies these cues as masculine or feminine, although there is considered masculine or feminine changes over time and varies by culture. Those of us who are younger than 30 are much more comfortable with people who do not fit in either category. How many people have seen someone who's wearing a dress but has a beard? Right, okay. That would not have happened in the 1950s. And lived. Right? So these things vary over time. They change over time. I would say there's even a look now to be transgender. Like there's actually ways that people who are transgender can identify other people that are transgender very quickly. It's just interesting how it's developing as cultures, as more cultures define themselves, more people define themselves. And if you my advice is, if you aren't comfortable with this, talk to people who are under 30, because they're much more fluid about it, and they're much more in touch with this conversation. Your gender expression does not affect your sexual identity. If you're trans, you could be straight, you could be gay, you could be bisexual, you could be any combination. It doesn't necessarily come one with the other. Is that clear? Okay. Cisgender, I guess means. Okay. Transgender, or simply trans, is an adjective used to describe someone whose gender identity differs from the sex assigned at birth. A transgendered man, for example, is someone who was listed as female at birth, but whose gender identity is male. Cisgender and transgender have their origins in Latin derive prefixes of cis and trans, cis meaning on this side of, and trans meaning across from, or on the other side of. Both adjectives are used to describe experiences of someone's gender identity. Now, a non-binary, that's a term I use, other people use as well, is a term that can be used by people who do not describe themselves or their genders as fitting into the categories of man or woman. A range of terms are used to refer to these experiences, non-binary and genderqueer, which I love that one, are among the terms that are sometimes used. There's something radical about the whole concept of queer. It's always been true in my life. I've always liked that term, although it's been called everything you can possibly imagine over the course of years. And there are things that I can call myself that you better not call me. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Agender is an adjective that can describe a person who does not identify as any gender. They're not sure what they are, but they know they're not this or that. Gender expansive is an adjective that can describe someone with a more flexible gender identity that might be associated with a typical gender binary. So that would be me. I'm a gender expansive. Gender transition is a process a person may take to bring themselves and or their bodies into alignment with their gender identity. It's not just one step. Transitioning can include any, none, or all of the following: telling one's friends, families, co-workers, changing one's name and pronouns, updating legal documents, medical interventions such as hormone therapy or surgery intervention, often called gender confirmation surgery. That's the polite way to call it. My friend, Mr. Bargreave, he's transitioned. I've known him throughout that whole process. And we've had many discussions where he feels that I'm trans, and I'm like, I have no desire to leave my body for a different body. So I don't feel like I'm trans. And he's like, okay, but really, Kiya, you should think about it. You should come out. I'm like, no, I'm good, I'm happy here. And now he's getting used to the idea that people treat him as if he's a straight man now. And he's not quite comfortable with that either. So it's real interesting to see how it evolves over time. Those of y'all may know Mr. Barb. He was the co-moderator with Alandria Williams before the current moderators of the UUA. Okay. Let's see, where are we at? All right. Gender dysphoria refers to the psychological distress that results from an incongruence between one's sex assigned at birth and one's gender identity. Not all trans people experience dysphoria, and those who do may experience it at varying levels of intensity. Sexual orientation is separate from gender identity. Transgender people may be straight, lesbian, gay, bisexual, or queer. For example, a person who transitions from male to female and is attracted solely to men would typically identify as a straight woman. A person who transitions from female to male and is attracted solely to men would typically identify as a gay man. This seems kind of obvious, but maybe not. Intersex is an umbrella term used to describe people with differences in reproductive anatomy. Chromosomes, like you may have an extra chromosome. You could appear male, but you have an extra X chromosome, then that would be an intersex situation. Being intersex is not the same as being non-binary or transgender, which are terms typically related to gender identity. So, for example, using the correct pronouns for trans and non-binary youth is a way to let them know that you see them. You affirm them and you accept them, and you let them know that they're loved during a time when they're really being targeted, as you can tell by the laws that have happened here in Texas, and why so many people are moving away. I'm in conversations with the UU Church in California, so we're working on a little bit of a Underground Railroad situation, so if people need help, they need to get reproductive care or they need to get trans care, that we can be hosted by our sister church in California and get people the help they need and get them there. So that's the kind of stuff that we're working on, little networks between the Unitarian churches. Anybody want to help with that, let me know. Okay. Just because a transgender person doesn't have their authentic name on their ID does not mean it is not the name that they go by. Sometimes it takes a long time to get your name legally changed, your IDs changed, your birth certificate changed. All those things take a lot of work, and not every state is amenable to that. It's a struggle that people are going to have for many years. So just don't assume that someone is living under an assumed name or a fake name. Call people the name they ask you to call them. And try not to think about it too much. It's none of your business. Anybody have any questions about anything I've covered so far? So how do you be a good ally? Well, one, assume you don't know until people tell you what they are. One. We have to remain visible. They have to see us. They have to know that we're not going anywhere and that we've been here ever since God made man and woman, and they have to get over it. I don't need their permission to exist. I exist in spite of them. I want you to train and teach and love on and create families within my community and gender non-conforming people so that we can understand that we have a culture, we have a history, we have a reason to be here, we have a purpose. We're entitled to be loved and seek happiness and share that with the people that we care about. That's Miss Major Griffin Gracie. So how to be a good ally? Be open-minded and don't shy away from asking questions. You can ask me, I'll just tell you right now, you can ask me anything. I won't take offense. I'll do my best to answer it. But understand that I can only talk about my own experience and not other people's experiences. So it's only good for one person, sorry. Ask a lot of people and get an overview. Do surveys. Be open-minded and don't shy away from asking questions. Make it clear that you support the LGBTQ plus people in your life. Use proper pronouns. Ask the individual what they identify as, and then you try to remember and use the correct pronouns. And if you screw up, say, I'm sorry, and do better. No big deal. Nobody expects you to remember everything. Everybody's worried about their own life, and they're not necessarily worried about mine or someone else's. So, there you go. Stay informed and stand up for the community by researching current policies. Support movements that call for LGBTQIA rights and dispelling inappropriate remarks that demean the community. This one's a hard one to do in this community. Be mouthy, even though it feels rude. Don't let somebody say something in front of you and act like you agree with them. It's so important. Even though it's awkward, just say, I'm really not comfortable with what you just said. That's all you have to say. I'm really not comfortable with what you just said. I would prefer you not make remarks like that in front of me. And you don't have to explain yourself any more than that. But that is an interruption of bad behavior. And that's the only way we change the culture. Y'all come out of the closet. Okay? Your allies come out of the closet. Be allies. All right. So stay informed. That's what you're doing today. I appreciate y'all listening to me. If anybody has any questions, please ask them. Thank you.
Now let an offering be taken to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us. a community of memory and of hope. For we are now the keepers of the dream. This church shares the proceeds of the offering plate donation each week to support important nonprofit organizations with which we work. Please be as generous as you can.
Yeah, we can play it in the if you want.
No, that's okay. You're playing it in G?
Yeah. Yeah, let's play in G. That sound all right? Y'all, we're gonna sing number 108, My Life Flows On, an endless song. My life flows on in endless song of mother's lamentation. I hear a reel of far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing what through the tempest round me roars? I know the truth delivered. The storm around me flows. Songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm. Onto the rock I'm clinging, since love prevails on heaven and earth. How can I keep from singing? Tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing. When friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? Through prison cell and dungeon mine, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends find shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing?
We give thanks for these gifts we have given, for those we receive, and for each other. May your generosity return to you tenfold. And now please join me in extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we gather together again.
Remember the way of the wind and breathe and blow. Remember the way of fire and sparkle and glitter and glow. Remember the way of the water and ebb and flow. Remember the way of the earth and grow. Don't forget to sign up for football parking and participating in the home games. Don't forget to take postcards of our installation dedication. It's definitely going to happen. Let's get excited about that. And I look forward to talking to you after the service. Go in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.